What's up? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another video in the series we like to call Underrated Throwers. Today we got Martinez Martin. I probably butchered that name. She has a PR of 70 meters 68 and is the 1992 Olympic champion for Barcelona and a three-time Pan American Games champion representing Cuba. And I think before Yemi Perez this year, or I guess this month, was the Cuban national record holder, but now I think Yemi Perez is. If she still actually represents Cuba, I'm not too sure about that. But let's talk about Maritza Martén. I know I'm really butchering that name. So, reason why I think she's very under represented and basically like underrated. So, the reason why I think that is basically, not a lot of people really paid attention to 90s throwing, especially nowadays, because it's, besides like Lars Riedel, it's hard to name like a lot of really good 90s discus throwers unless you're like a nerd like me. Obviously there were some, but and especially for women's discus, especially at that time, I feel like it just wasn't the same as it was back then and as it is now. Though I could be wrong because I wasn't alive when she was throwing. And another reason is I just don't think a lot of people know who she is. And she was a really, really good discus thrower, obviously. 70 meters is nothing to, poo-poo about. So, yeah, that's why. So, we're going to, as the video says, analyze a qualifying throw for the 92 Olympics. So, 65.02. So, not a PR, but still pretty good throw. Probably wasn't trying very hard because, it's a qualifying throw, and when you're that good, you don't really need to try very hard to qualify. So let's dig into the analysis. So she's here. Now, as you can see, I'm going to link her height, weight, personal best, and notable accomplishments in the video description, as always. She's a really big gal. And that's not like a diss. I'm not calling her fat or anything. I'm just saying that she's a powerhouse. So let me just play this full speed. And I do apologize for the quality. This is in 1992, so it's the best I could get. This was her peak. This is the year she also hit her PR. So just keep that in mind as well. I don't normally like analyzing from the front angle, but whatever. We get what we get. So first of all and foremost, men should never throw a discus like this ever. All right, I don't think men should even copy women really. Because the 1K is the power to weight ratio for a woman in a 1K discus is so much. It's astonishing. Like, a woman, as long as you have a good release, a woman can really just do anything with a discus. Like, you see, like, men, they pretty, like, for the most part, like, look pretty similar and stuff. Woman can look so different. So different. And yet throw, like, the same distance or throw further and stuff. Like, it's honestly incredible. And, like, when you're strong enough and big enough and just explosive enough, again, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but especially with you're a woman, you can do a whole bunch of weird stuff in the ring as long as you have a good release and you land in a really good position in the front of the ring. You can just hit the crap out of a discus and just send it. So that's for now. You do need technique, obviously, because you just need technique to throw far. Nobody with bad technique can throw 70 meters. I don't care if you're a man or woman. You have to have certain things. So, keep that in mind too. I'm not just saying like, oh, just be super big and powerful and work on your stand throw, and then you'd just be fine. You'll never like get like to those elite marks like that, but just keep what I've been saying in mind. It's gonna apply to her because I don't really particularly is to put it nicely. It's not the most conventional technique in the world. Like this wind, I personally don't like. It looks very unbalanced. I don't like how the hip is too different, is not level. I don't like that, like, this hip is down and this hip is up. I don't really like that. I don't like how this knee's really down. I don't like how she doesn't have a lot of weight on her left foot. This wind, it's whatever. Who cares? It's really the lower body. And as you can see from here, she doesn't really get weight over her left. She kind of just falls into the middle. So she's kind of unbalanced. She keeps her left arm inside of her left hip. I think if she actually used her left arm, it would be a lot better, and she'd be able to get over her left better. But it really doesn't matter. And again, I know it's a style to keep your left arm inside your left hip to prevent you from pulling, but someone at this level who's like really good should be able to like use their left arm. You see a lot more modern day throwers don't like actually use their left arm to help them turn out the back. But again, as I said, you can just get away with stuff like this. Like a man, like a dude in this position throwing a 2K discus, that's not going to work. This position will not work really. You're going to fall into the middle. The discus is I can't really see the discus. It's not that far behind her. Okay, actually it is kind of far behind her. But yeah, like this position is not very good. This right here. Now the angle that her left foot is really good. And I like how fast she turns out the back, and I like the separation she holds. And then right here, I would like the head up, but again, that's like a nitpick thing. Like this is fine. So like this position is really good. How she got there is not. I would prefer, if I was coaching her, and like I got her before she was like a 70-meter thrower, I would coach her to start more up so she could sink down more. But also, I might not, because, if I'm a big believer, if someone throws far and it doesn't look correct, or like it doesn't look the way like you want it, but they still throw far, just go with it, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's not a beauty contest, it's about throwing far. So if it works, don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So maybe I wouldn't change it, but whatever. This is just things that I would personally change. Not to say I know anything more than her coach, because I've never coached a 70-meter thrower, an Olympic champion, so what the hell do I know? But let's go here. So let's go back to here. So, really nice position here. So this is a good position. I'd like the sweep to be a little wider, but that's because she didn't really get over her left, so she kind of has to have this kind of narrow sweep. It's not that narrow. It's like a medium kind of sweep. I do like the dorsiflexion, how she's leading with the groin. So she's not leading with her knee, she's leading with her groin. So right here, this I don't like. Let me clear that. I don't like how she just locks out this left knee out the back and stuff. I like that she does a really nice pre-turn. This is actually a really nice pre-turn. I just think that she doesn't get a lot of linear energy through the ring, and it's going to affect her later on in her finish, but we're going to get to that. I think she creates a whole bunch of rotational energy, which is really good, but she's going up. So I believe that this sweep is way too high. And I believe that she kind of just jumps up in the air, which again, if you're a 70-meter plus thrower, like if you're explosive enough to do that, you can get away with stuff like this. If you're a woman. And I wish that she sprinted off like a little bit sooner. She should be off her left leg like here. Well, more like here. She should be off her left leg, and I think that would. But again, like she's not really sprinting. So I don't know how tall she is. So maybe that's why she's not sprinting. Maybe it's also the angle of the camera that makes it look like she sweeps really high. It could be a bunch of things, but for right now, she's not sweeping that high, and it's just the camera angle. Then I do apologize, but it does look like she's sweeping really high and just locking out this knee. So I believe that this is not a very good position if you're a dude. So if you're a guy throwing a 2K discus, this is not ideal. You're in the air too long and you're going to decelerate way too quickly. So by the time your right foot's here, I believe it should be like more here, way more closer to the ground, and the left leg should already be like, by the time you're here, your right leg should basically be down and your left leg should be in line with your right leg. But I want you to notice the thing that saves this is she does a super aggressive pre-turn in the middle. So she's here, boom. So she lands beautifully. Her power position is amazing, which is, I think, what really saves her. Her back of the ring to middle is like, but her you can tell she can do a killer stand throw from this. Like, she catches the discus so far back. She's a little under rotated. And then I would like her to use her right foot more into the finish. So you notice how her right foot is pointed here instead of towards the throw. Her hip is fantastic. But I just don't like the disconnect between the right foot and the right hip. Another thing that is really nice is her block is fantastic. So let's see. So the discus is out here, basically. I want you to notice how long she keeps this block. So she follows through, still holding the block, and then her left foot barely moves. It's actually crazy. And she's a non-reverser. Kind of. She kind of does like a Jurgen Schultz non-reverse where she kind of just hops into it. It's honestly almost like a glide reverse. But like not like a very good one. It's almost like a glide non-reverse, I should say. Where like she just gets a whole bunch of linear energy, which is not very common to see. Well, actually, back then it was very common to see people throw like this because the glide was still very relevant back in the 90s. So, people still threw like discus like this because, the rotational shot put wasn't that much of a influence as it is now. So, whatever. But I personally don't like people releasing like this. But then again, 65-meter throw is not terrible. So yeah, again, it doesn't look the prettiest, but by God, her finish is crazy. The only thing I would really change about her finish is, I guess she does turn her right foot. I just think she could turn it more and just push against the ground more. So like she turns it to here, and then here, and then it just does nothing, and it kind of just goes out the waistland. And you notice, so I can tell that she's a non-reverser, and the reason why is because this bent left knee. So if you're a true non-reverser, you want to keep a bent left knee. Otherwise, you're going to reverse, because if you pop the left knee, that's what makes you reverse. All right, but you always want to keep a bent right knee, whether you're a non-reverser or a reverser. Oops, I did not mean to zoom in. Sorry. But you want to keep. Now, I'm not saying like really bend it. It's just slightly bent. So just like this. So it's just slightly bent. So you still have to have a powerful block. But it's just a slightly bent left knee to keep you grounded. All right. So that's a mark of a true non-reverser. And that's why when you see most reverse throwers, when they take stands, they pop the left knee and then just kind of just step forward to prevent themselves from reversing. So they don't do true non-reverses. They do what I like to call reverse non-reverse. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're a reverser, because even if you're a reverser, I still think being a practicing non-reverses is a good thing, because it teaches you to stay grounded, how to work the ground, be patient, finish with your hips and shoulders square to the ring, square to the sector. It just teaches you the fundamentals, because you can get away with having like a amp release if you're a reverser, but you can't with a non-reverse. You got to be on point to throw a good non-reverse. So yeah, but anyway, again, I would not call her like the best technical model even for women, except this position is absolutely insane. I love this position right here. Like, that's a textbook like position. That almost kind of looks like Perkovic. So, and in my opinion, Perkovic has the best stand throw, like the best power position of any woman ever. At least that I've seen. So, but this is close. This is about as good as it gets. But yeah. I just wish they kind of finished her hip a little more through, but, whatever. Again, this is also not, like, her furthest throw ever. So, her 70-meter throw, she could have easily just smashed it and stuff. But I do think that this took away distance. And I think she could have thrown so much further if she didn't come out the back like that. It's not, like, terrible. I just think it could have been better. But, whatever. Like, in my opinion. If that's her style and she tried to actually get over her left but it just doesn't work, then, whatever. I just don't like her peeking here. I just don't. It just looks off to me. But, that's just me, I guess. But, yeah. Again, I would not claim that she's a good technical model. But, the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I mean, if you can throw far like this, then by all means throw far from like this. But yeah, so once again, I'll link her personal best, height, weight, if I can find them, and notable accomplishments in the video description. Hope you guys learned something, and have a good day.